Hi everyone, my name is Ayla Tesler-Mabe, and today I'm going to be doing Rob Scallon's Song in an Hour challenge. And just to simulate what it's like to be a beginner playing the guitar for the first time, I'm going to be playing the guitar left-handed, which is the way I'm holding it now. If you've ever seen me play guitar before, you probably know that I usually play the other way around. But what's interesting is I'm actually left-handed myself, but of course I play the guitar right-handed. But I'm going to be putting my less dominant hand through a real challenge here, and I'm excited. It's going to be difficult, and my fingers are probably going to hurt a lot, but let's just see what happens. It's going to be fun. All right, so I'm on the Guitar Quest homepage. As you can see here, there's a whole expedition that one embarks on to learn the guitar, which is pretty awesome. But I'm going to start on level 1, Song in an Hour. Here's Rob. Tell me what's going on, Rob.
Hey, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Rob.
We're looking forward to our first guitar lesson.
Me too.
Which we're probably going to move to the next lesson, at least most of the regular first guitar lesson-y stuff, because I may have booked a show on the same day because I'm not quite as organized.
Quick tip, if you're a musician, you need to learn how to schedule your time. So as we see here, Rob booked a show on the same day as our guitar lesson. And you know, it happens sometimes. You learn to adapt. It'll be good. But Rob, I'm a little upset to hear this, but we'll learn from your mistakes.
Also, our other guitar player didn't show up. So
Aww.
If you could fill in for one song, that would be awesome.
Okay.
And I know that sounds like a whole lot, but we're going to take it step by step, and I know that you can nail it, even if you've never held a guitar before. So we're going to get back here before look out. Yeah, there's a lot of gear back here. Being on tour is very dangerous.
That's true.
Also, if you're here for the Song in an Hour challenge, you can get your timer out, start it right at the beginning of the next lesson, and then you can stop it when you've played with the full band. So if you're up for a challenge, you can give that a shot. Everyone else, we can just take our time, take it at our leisure, and do it bit by bit. This is going to be super fun. So glad to have you here.
I'm on the clock. I'm going to do this in an hour because I'm being filmed, so I have to. But you can take your time and have fun. Lesson 2, all right, how do I hold this thing? And I'm assuming the thing is the guitar, right? So let's figure it out, because it does feel uncomfortable to be holding it opposite to the way I usually do. So I'd like to hear his pointers. My hand's getting sweaty. I'm not even playing anything yet.
It's going to take a little while for it to feel comfortable.
So far he's holding it like this. So.
You always want to feel relaxed. That's something that with guitar players, like right when they start playing, it's like, I don't know, if they feel tense, it's like, all right, I'm working hard, and that's just silly. You just always want to be relaxed.
That, I think, is the most important part of this video. Keep relaxed. And I know that because when I first started playing the guitar the other way around, there's a lot of tension in my body, and I also was like, oh, if I have tension in my body, that means I'm working hard, right? And you don't need to feel tension necessarily. And in fact, the more relaxed you are, the better. So I think that's the most important takeaway from this whole video. Just try to keep relaxed and not seize up with tension. And if that's the case, maybe try adjusting a few things. But yeah, he's explaining it well.
So how to hold the pick, how I do, is if you just hold it out with your other hand.
Here's my other hand.
Right on it, kind of like this. And then what I do is I just put my thumb there, and then I take these two fingers and just bring it to the other side. And that's how I hold the pick.
Me too.
And it's at a little bit of an angle when you hold it up. It's pretty simple. But again, this is really subjective. There's a lot of different ways that people hold the pick. Sometimes they'll have it more into the thumb like that. Sometimes they'll have it a bit more this way. Sometimes they just use one finger. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But this I find works for most people, so try that out first.
Yesterday I was playing funk music, and my pick flew right out of my hands. But luckily I had another one right in front of me, so I just picked up the other pick and I kept going. But it happens, you know? Even to people who've been playing for a long time, picks go flying. And maybe buy extras, because if you have just one pick, the likelihood of you losing it is astronomical. Everyone loses their picks. That's like a running joke in the guitar community. Especially if you have acoustic, it's probably going to fall into your guitar at some point.
My pick's in here. Come on. Come on, I would just skip right over the strings.
They just disappear. Like, you could put it on the table, I'll look away, it'd be gone. In this case, the pick is camera shy, so it's not cooperating. And now I'm embarrassed. All right, so following his advice, I'm probably gonna keep the guitar just like in a standard position like this. Actually, this is interesting. I'll see throughout the video as we start playing if I wanna have it in the more classical position or just down in this more standard position over my leg like this. But yeah, the pick's in my hand, feeling all right. Here's my hand on the fretboard. Let's turn the volume up. I'll just strum the strings a bit. See what happens. Oh my God. Yeah, this feels incredibly uncomfortable. There's a little TV up over there. You can't see it, but there's one behind the camera, and I'm looking at my form as I'm playing. I mean, it looks relaxed, which is good. That's the key, but definitely looks unnatural. And that's normal, because there is nothing really natural about holding a piece of wood like this in your hands and, you know, doing this kind of motion to make sound on it. So everyone experiences that in the beginning. I definitely remember for the first, long while when I started playing, the whole experience of playing a stringed instrument just felt wrong. It's just not natural, but at the same time, it begins to feel natural the more you do it. So just know that the whole experience is normal, struggling in the beginning, very normal, and just embrace the process, because you only get to go into an experience not knowing anything about it like one time, really, right? So it's kind of magical to go through that process. And it's cool that I sort of get to reenact my younger youth by flipping the guitar the other way, because this whole thing feels really uncomfortable. But I'm excited to see if we make some music soon. So I'm gonna head on to the next video, see what happens.
And my guitar is at a little bit of an angle, but however you manage to do it, I find having the pick at a bit of an angle to the strings to just be a lot nicer, because then you can use the size of the pick here, if you can see this other angle, right?
That's a really good point. If you have your guitar sort of held like so, and you just strum with your pick completely, parallel to the strings like this, and it's kind of like this motion, you have to exert a lot more force than you would if you had a little bit of an angle going on there. So the angle is really important to pay attention to. It's a good point. I appreciate that he pointed that out, because, if I had known that when I started, it would have been great.
So a lot of new guitar players, they'll like kind of stiffen their arm, and then they'll play like this. That's annoying. Let me turn the amp off. They'll kind of play like this and be really stiff. And you don't want to play like that. Or they might keep this really stiff.
All in the flick of the wrist, my friends, right? This is what you want to avoid. Ideally, you want some wrist movement here. Here is my wrist. Wrist reveal. It's a lot more relaxed. And I don't think you need to be as dramatic about it. I'm just having a hard time controlling my strumming hand. But essentially, long story short, not from your arm like this, really, especially when you're starting. But you want that wrist sort of relaxed like this. Yes. Okay, continue, Rob.
For this course, I picked up a left-handed guitar to try to learn the basics right again. And immediately, I was always getting my pick stuck on the strings. Always. It was like, this never happens. And it was because I wasn't using the pick at an angle. So that's a pretty common thing. So I get it. I totally get it. So pick's at an angle, sliding through the strings like this, before you get a good shot. Just like that. Again, my guitar, just resting up against my body. So with this lesson, I'm gonna add some jam tracks, and I'm going to jam along with you as we go to hopefully make it more fun. And you have to—
I've always wanted to jam with Rob. This is great. I'm finally fulfilling my dream. This is so exciting. Spacebar.
If you can go through the lesson and get to a point where you can talk or have a conversation or think about something else while you're doing it, then you're probably ready to move on.
I encourage conversations while strumming the guitar continuously.
Yes, I do as well. If you want—
Okay, let's see. I encourage conversations while strumming the guitar continuously. Nice. Okay, there you go. That's a good test.
We're going to be using something called tab or guitar tab.
Tablature.
This is like guitar shorthand. Let me bring it up to the side here. So to communicate in tab, to get a string, to just strum a string without doing anything else to it, is just a 0. So if I play this string,
0.
see we got a 0 there.
Fret 0.
If I play the one all the way at the top, the higher one, then we get a 0 at the top. And that 0 just means, again,
Ooh, his
hitting the
singing
string
voice.
in whatever way
Nice,
you can
Rob.
to make it vibrate, and just that one. So if I go through all of them, you'll see we have 0 at the lowest line and going up to the top. And then if I put a 0
Rob's singing for us. I like that. Thank you, Rob.
on every single line, that says play them all at once. So that's what we're going to be doing in this jam. So you're going to see those zeros go by, and that's what that means. If you see all 6 of those strings with a 0 on it,
You know what I keep doing? Every time I strum the strings, I end up muting that high E string because I'm leaving my left hand, sorry, my right hand, yes, covering that string when I don't mean to be. That's a good thing to look out for when you're starting. If you hear any strings muted, that means that it's being covered in some way by another finger, which is probably what you want to avoid, right? So just wanted to point that out because that's a really common challenge that a lot of people run into when they're first starting the instrument. So,
and if rhythm is tough for you, totally okay. Just keep practicing. It took me a really, really long time, for sure. And then that's leading us into nearly the greatest chord on the guitar. We're almost there. So yeah, I'll see you in the next lesson for that.
nice. Okay, let's try those challenges. But I like how he kept mentioning hit the 1. James Brown would agree. A lot of funk music, it's all about emphasizing that downbeat on the 1, right? All right, time to leave a comment. I like that video. And I'm gonna say, this is awesome. 2 exclamation marks. Maybe he'll get back to me. Rob, please reply to me. Okay, here we go. Next lesson. The easiest and greatest chord.
But now we're going to move on to the easiest and greatest chord on the guitar, which I love so much. It's absolutely fundamental. There's other musicians in here that might disagree with me. But I'm going to come right out and say that the G chord is the greatest chord on the guitar.
That's a
And there's
bold
a lot of different
opinion.
ways to play every different chord.
It's a good chord, though.
If I hit a string, just 1, I've got a note, I'm singing a note right now. Here's another note. That's
the same note.
Actually, but in a different
Jinx!
octave. We'll go over that later.
Nice.
I've
Got
got
him.
another note. If I have a string, just like we've been doing before, I can get it to vibrate by just striking it.
I tried to play the string, and I muted it. It didn't work at all. Just goes to show how, you know, building that muscle memory takes time, right? Like, even though I've been playing for, 8 years now or something like that, as soon as I switch the other way around, everything just goes out the window. And I still have to really look down at my hand to make sure I'm, striking the right string. With time, you'll be able to build the muscle memory so that you don't have to look at your hands at all. But until then, it's totally cool to do that. But yeah, it's interesting to go through this experience. Interesting, exciting, and fun.
With the pick. And then if I press down around the frets, you can press anywhere in between them, then you can get different notes. So on just this one string, depending on what fret I'm pressing down,
Oh, I turned the volume knob the wrong way.
I can get different notes, yeah. All which is going to different frets. So let's go about how to, and once you
Oh,
have
this is
one-
humbling.
So that same 4-string strum we were doing earlier, venue stuff. So the regular,
The guy just walked through the frame with a backpack. Can we have that happen here?
walk through the frame.
With a, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And again, to this
I
first
missed
stop.
again.
And then if we do that same 4-string strum we did earlier,
With the G chord. Oh my God, jinx again. That's so awesome. The greatest chord on the guitar.
this chord on the guitar. So versatile, so amazing. Let's talk about how to get it. Then usually, and I've had so many students that will try it and then go, oh, my hands are too small, or my hands aren't strong enough yet, I can't get the note. And 99% of the time, it's always just that their thumb is in a weird place. And
True. And the key here is you said your hand is too small or not strong enough yet. But my hands are small. They're pretty small, right? But, you know, found a way that worked for me. Especially the thumb placement thing is huge. But in general, the guitar is an instrument that you don't need to have, you know, massive extremities to play.
Is we're going to use our first finger and our thumb and just clamp the guitar neck. Just like you were holding something, like if I hold this tuner. Like if I was to pick this up, I would, with these two fingers, I would pick it up like that. Having the thumb right on the back side for support, and having my finger here, just like that makes a little.
The thumb's for support.
Clamping it, and you have support on the other side. And
It's no coincidence that the thumbs up is a sign of good job. And it's also what you use to support your hand. What?
people always do right when they.
So yeah, long
and
story
to
short,
try to pick up something like
keep
that,
your
then,
thumb in a
you know, it just doesn't really.
relaxed
It's not. It's a very
position.
strange and inefficient way.
Nothing crazy like this.
and-
Would you say it's a rule of thumb? Everyone's cringing in the room.
You're gonna build up calluses around your finger. And
Yeah, that's so normal. Everyone experiences that. Literally everyone. Unless you, for some reason, already have calluses on your hand. But again, there is something slightly unnatural about taking your finger and digging into a metal string. It can be pretty uncomfortable at first, but you will build calluses over time. Take breaks when you need to, but also be aware of how helpful, you know, continuous practice is and being consistent, maybe picking up the guitar, you know, even a few minutes a day will help a lot just because you need that time to build the strength and especially, you know, the calluses on your fingers. And it'll just become easier and easier over time to practice for longer periods of time as you just build up that strength and resistance to metal. Yes.
greatest chord ever. So versatile. So that's
Oh,
the
my
assignment
finger
here.
was too far
Simply
the other way.
just to be able to get this chord, get it nice and clean without hurting your finger. Nice clamp there.
Yeah, already my first finger hurts. Ah, now we're on practicing for the show. Oh, I'm nervous. Oh, I haven't played a show in a while. It's been a while. Why did I say it like that?
On top of here, the two fingers. It's going to be moving around as we're playing, and that's totally fine. Those micro adjustments are totally normal. We're not doing something wrong. And then you're going to strum at a bit of an angle with your wrist and that.
Oh, I
Back
strummed the
to arm.
A string
Whatever
too.
that is. You're strumming both of them.
Didn't mean to do that.
Top fourth string. But like if you're going really, really fast and you don't need a lot of power, that's a really annoying sound. If you're going really, really fast,
Whoa.
then you go
High
fast,
twitch
you don't
muscles.
have a lot of power. You wouldn't want to strum with these. And then these have a lot of power. They're really big muscles, but they're not as accurate. And at your
Some of the best things I've ever done in music, and especially at live shows, were complete accidents. So sometimes you gotta embrace the accidents. Bob Ross would agree.
expensive.
Happy accidents.
There's a few different ways that you can go about switching here.
Happy little
You
accidents.
can go just here and then moving your whole operation over and using the same finger. That's one way. That might get tiresome after a little while because you're doing a lot of movement.
I know what he's gonna say
A
next.
lot of playing guitar, especially playing
Use your other
fast, is
fingers.
just about efficiency. So we're going to try to make it a bit more efficient.
Just wait for
So
it.
We're going to go
He's
to
gonna
that
say
second
it.
chord, which is just the second fret, the same
It's coming.
situation we have with the thumb back clamped. And to switch between the two chords,
Gonna
we can bring our
put your
second
second
finger here. And actually, I would move my thumb kind of right in between here.
I
Pretty much
knew it.
wherever the action is, your thumb is right in the middle of all of it on the other side, usually. So we can switch between the two chords by adding in another finger.
You can.
So I'm going to add in this other finger here.
That's what I was
Keep this one
practicing.
here always. It can be
High-speed
there through the
exercise.
entire song. And then this one, you're just bringing into that other fret. I found when I was practicing this through on the left-handed guitar with my uncalloused fingers, how fatigued
That'd be a really interesting emo rock band name. My uncalloused fingers.
that part of my finger was. Like I would do this for a little while, and then move on to.
All right, let's prepare for our show. This is exciting. I'm gonna go down to the assignments here because I think that'll be helpful. Practice both chords. We're gonna practice going back and forth between both chords, sounding clean without hurting your fingers. And then we're gonna practice them both in time. Practice going back and forth between the chords in time, along with the drum track. So, all right, let's first just get familiar with the feeling of going from G major to G major 7. Nice. I'm gonna be on that pickup. Right now my middle finger hurts even more than my first finger. I keep hitting the pickup selector. It's not part of the assignment. But yeah, I feel pretty all right going from one chord to the next. Again, this finger's kind of hurting. I might approach a little bit more with this sort of hyperflexion in my fingers. Don't do that, ideally, but you know, it's an example of just trying to figure out some other angles to keep going. Because I've had that happen. I've had to play a real show before with my fingers and some pretty significant amounts of pain. And then you just gotta adapt. And you know, don't hurt yourself, especially if you want to keep playing music long term. But you know, finding a way to persevere and push yourself is sometimes a really powerful experience as a person. So now we're gonna try to play in time. I'm just gonna get the track going so I can play along. See, it's pretty flat, but that's okay for now. And I'm paying attention to the drums so I can land on the one with the drums. I just muted the strings with my right hand. Left hand. I can't even keep track of what hands are what anymore. I'm all confused. But yeah, you know, practice along to that for as long as you need to. You can even adjust the speed. That's awesome. I could play this at 25%. How slow would that be? Whoa. Oh my goodness. This sounds like, you know, the 60s when people discovered tape delay and drugs at the same time. And then psychedelic music was born. Wait, oh, I'm gonna miss it. Okay, I just need to hit one of the chords at the right time. Okay. All right, got it, cool. Whoa, it sounded like a reverse guitar for a second. Wow, okay, I've heard enough. Anyways, this is interesting. It goes to show, if you have the tempo a little bit too slow, sometimes it's hard to play that, you know, in the same way that if you have the tempo too fast, it's hard to play it in a different way, right? So, you know, finding balance. Balance is key in life, right? So, yeah, that was cool though. All right, let's go to the final performance. Now that I've prepared, I've tried it at a few different tempos. The two extreme tempos. You probably want to find something in the middle to practice with if you need more time to prepare. But now we're gonna head on over to the show, practicing for the show. Okay, here we are. I threw some chorus on my guitar just to get a really nice dreamy tone, because you know what they say, if you can't play well, compensate with nice sounding effects pedals. But ideally, you play well and you have nice sounding effect pedals, but the tone is in the fingers, right? So, just so you can get an idea of what that sounds like. Dreamy. I might even change my pickup. Something twangier. What about this one? Wow, now we're in the 80s, or we're in 2021 Vancouver surf indie pop. That's the dominating sound of our local music scene. Get prepared, preparation. If you don't plan, you're planning to fail. That's what my social studies teacher from high school always said. I could use my first finger. second finger. Oh, I missed that chord. I wouldn't usually be talking during a performance, but this is how I'm practicing, right? Because they say have conversations while you're practicing.
Thanks so much for being here for our extremely short set. Got me and my band behind me, so proud of these people. Everyone's been playing their instruments for such a long time, they're so talented. This is 2 chords.
Seems suspicious when you say it like that, Rob. Keep putting my finger too far over.
All I need and more. 2 chords are what I'm looking for.
Nice sunglasses. I wish I had sunglasses right now. That's another way to compensate for not knowing the song. Have nice sunglasses. People trust people with nice sunglasses. I could have played that better. Ooh, rip a solo. Two chords.
Are all I'm looking for.
That's all he's looking for.
2 chords.
2 chords.
Are all I need and more.
I came in a little late there. I don't know why.
2 chords are what I'm looking for.
Thank you. That's the cool thing to do at the end of the song. You always hear real rock and rollers just strum open strings for no reason. I don't know why. I feel like I picked that up from the video game Rock Band. That's where I learned that. It's just what all the cool cats do. So yeah, that was the Song in an Hour challenge. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect, as you heard, but I think that I learned a lot. You know, I got to work on my non-dominant hands coordination. That's always a great thing. But I think even as a total beginner with no previous musical experience, anyone would be able to try this challenge out and learn at least something from it. And you know, guitar is a lifelong journey. It's difficult for absolutely everyone in the beginning. It hurts. It, you know, really forces you to use muscles you wouldn't otherwise in your hands. But it's so worth it in the end, because a great thinker once said, a world with everyone playing music in it is probably a better world, right? So just try it out, have fun, and be kind to yourself in the process. It won't be perfect, but I think you'll definitely learn something from the experience. And if you're interested in trying out the first level of Guitar Quest, everything you saw me go through in this video, you can access it for free down below and get started. That was a lot of fun, Rob. Thank you so much for creating this. As I said before, it's always been a little bit of a dream of mine to jam with you, so this was awesome. Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who watched this video. Thank you so much. Bye.